All right, an average rate of change is a fancy way of saying what? I'm going to throw the question out there. I'm going to tell you, obviously, if no one knows, but what is an average rate of change? Slope. It is a fancy way of saying slope. Before I get into this, what we're going to do, like the pre-calculus level of this, let's just review slope from back in algebra 1. Just off to the side here, give me some little like single digit numbers. 1, 2, and then I need another point. Let's do 3, 7. Okay. What letter stands for slope also, weirdly? M for slope. Does that make sense? Do you remember how to find a slope? And again, if no one remembers, I'm going to tell you. I'm your teacher and it's like my job, but y2 minus y1. So you would subtract your y values. It would be 7 minus 2. And then in the denominator, good. So it would be 3 minus 1. We're doing this in algebra 1 right now. Do you remember in algebra 1 where this was like months of your life? Is doing slope, y equals mx plus b and all that other stuff. All right, so this would give you what, 5 over 2 for your slope. And if I made you graph the line, it would be up 5, right 2, up 5, right 2 lines. Okay, good stuff. So I'm going to draw a picture for this because a picture is worth an infinite number of words. Just go ahead and draw yourself like something. I always draw an exponential graph because that's my favorite one, the little swoop. So we're going to find 2 points on this graph. Now we're writing the in general version of this. When I made up this example, you guys shouted out numbers and we just made up something. It had actual numbers. We're going to do the in general version, which involves letters instead of numbers. It's going to look like the alphabet threw up on your paper. Okay. So we're going to find 2 points on this graph. The first one is going to be X. And then where that meets the graph, your output would be f of X. You input X, you get back f of X for your function. Is everyone still on board? You plug in X, you get back f of X. Okay. Now I need to travel a distance down here to get another point, and we're going to call that distance H. I don't know why it's H. Someone picked H, and that's always the letter we use for this. So if you start at X and you travel a distance of H, what is this new value that we're at? X. Let's use actual numbers. If you start at 3 and you travel a distance of 7, where'd you end up? 10. So if you start at X and you travel a distance of H, X plus H is where you ended up. So where that point meets the graph, what do you get back out? What's the output? Oh, good. Okay, that's usually the part that doesn't go well, but that sounds like you guys are okay with that. F of X plus H. So if you input X, you get back f of X. If you input X plus H, you get back f of X plus H. And what we're going to do is the slope. So just watch me point to these. What we did up here is we subtracted the y values. Look at these two are your y values. Do you see them right here? Okay, it's going to be this one minus this one. So f of X plus H minus f of X. It's that one minus that one. We're just subtracting the y values. So this one minus this one. And then on the bottom of the fraction, we're going to subtract X plus H minus X. And one thing is going to like simplify there. And that's what we're going to put down here for our difference quotient. What's the one thing that kind of like cancels out there? Yeah, do you see these X's? If you have an X minus an X, they go away. So here's your difference quotient. F of X plus H minus f of X all over H. The reason it's called a difference quotient. Difference means, do you remember how sum means add? Difference means subtract. What does quotient mean? Division. It's a fraction. Do you see how we subtracted and it's in a fraction? That's why it's called a difference quotient. Okay. Now, do you have to know that? Yeah, but after we do like 3 or 4 problems, you're going to have accidentally memorized it. Like it's not that hard. Okay. So first example, we're just going to practice a few of these. How many of these did I put on here? 5. We're just going to practice 5 of them. All right. This is very much like a drill and practice thing. It'll go real quick. Your first step is you're going to plug in X plus H. So wherever there's an x, you're going to plug in x plus h. So this is going to be 5 x plus h minus 1. That's the first step. You take x plus h, plug it into the function. Good so far? Okay. You guys are good with your algebra and stuff, so this is going to go well, I promise. All right. So that's this part. Then it's minus the function. Do you see how it's minus f of x? It's going to be minus this whole thing. So give it a hug. So you just minus the function. And then it's the whole thing over h. I write it every time, but I'm the teacher doing the problem in front of a whole room full of people that I'm trying to explain it to. So I write every last little thing. A lot of people will not write that because I get that it's annoying to be like all of it over h and then just put it in at the end. Does that make sense? Whatever is your personal preference, as long as your answer is right, I really don't care. Okay. Now we're going to do some algebra. What do we do with this 5? Distribute. So that's going to give us 5x plus 5h. And then minus 1. And then what are we going to do with this negative? Distribute it. So it's going to negate everything. Minus 5x plus 1 all over h. If you have done your job correctly, almost everything should go away. If it doesn't, you missed a negative sign. That's always what it is a negative sign. Call them as you see them. What goes away? All right, 5x minus 5x, that's gone. 1's are gone. So you have 5h over h, which is just 5, is your answer. Now let's talk about why it came out to 5, because I want you to make this connection. What we're finding is slope. This is linear. Y equals mx plus b. What's the slope? 5. And I'm going to say this on the recording. If it is linear, you don't have to actually do the problem. You can just go, oh, it's the slope. The answer's 5. So for example, if I gave you one that looked like this, what's the answer? 7. And you don't have to do any work. Now, in your homework, I'm giving you 5 questions for your homework. You can only do one of those. Okay, the others I want you to actually work out. Okay, so you can have one freebie. Does that make sense? Okay, otherwise I want you to skip them. So this one, what's your answer? -2 is the answer. And again, in your homework, you can do that once. 1 out of the 5, you can just like get a freebie like that. Because I want you to make the connection that the answer is the slope. So that's fine. This one, you can't do that because it's not a line. This isn't linear. What is this? Yeah, quadratic. It's going to be a parabola. Okay, the first step is you're going to plug in x plus h. So that would give you x plus h twice. Good, squared. But I want you to write it twice. It'll be x plus h, x plus h. -2. Thank you. As a heads up, we're going to do x plus h times x plus h a lot of times. You might end up wanting to just know that one. Just throwing that out there. All right, so we plugged in x plus h. Then it's minus the function. So give it a hug. You're subtracting the whole thing. And some people like to just go ahead and distribute the negative. That's fine too. This is very much personal preference, how you want to do this. And then the whole thing is over h. Now this is FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. Let's see what we get. X times x. Perfect. The outsides give you xh. The insides give you xh. So together, 2xh. Good. And then h times h is h squared. I'm going to pause here a second and write that on the board because you are going to do that so many times that you would do well just to know that that's what that equals. All right, -2, and then what? Negate those. Good. So minus x squared plus 2. Good. Over h. At this point, if you have done your job correctly, a lot of stuff should cancel out. If it doesn't, you dropped a negative somewhere. All right, so what's going to go away? X squareds are gone. The 2's are gone. I think that's it. Now, everything that's left should have an H in it, does it? Okay, that means you can cancel out an H from each term. Do you see how we're dividing by H? So you're going to cancel one H from each term. What would that leave you with? 2x plus H. Your answer. Cool, let's try it again. What's the first step? Plug in x plus h. So that would give us x plus h squared, if you want to just go ahead and write it twice, plus 4x plus h. You have to plug x plus h in everywhere that there's an x. If you miss that, you'll catch it when you go to cancel stuff out because it won't all cancel. Does this make sense? Like you will catch your mistake. These are very like forgiving problems. You'll catch it if you have a problem. All right, so we plugged in x plus h. Then what's the second step? Subtract the whole thing. All right, subtract the function. So give it a hug. You're subtracting the whole thing. And then that's all over h. And then you're going to do a ton of distributing. So this first part, when you do FOIL, first, outside, inside, last, that'll be x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. That's what this first part is going to give you. You're going to do that a lot. Then what? 4x plus 4h, good. Distributing a 4. Sorry, that's an h. That's a kind of poor h. Let me fix that one. And then distribute the negative. So these are going to negate. Minus x squared minus 4x all over h. At that step, if you have done your job correctly, a lot of stuff should go away. So what is going to go away? Right, x squareds are gone. 4x's are gone. That might be it. Does everything that's left have an h in it? Yes. And again, like you'll catch your mistakes. If it doesn't, then you missed something somewhere. So because it's all divided by h, you can cancel an h in each term. What will that leave you with? 2x and then plus h plus just 4. Good. Perfect. That's your answer. Hanging in there. We're going to try one more. This is all that this is. I didn't lie to you. It's a super easy thing. So we had a plus 4h. The h canceled. So that left us with just 4. All right, last one. So first step is what? Plug in x plus h. So this is going to give you 3 x plus h squared. Now I'm trying to save you some writing because I know these are already kind of large problems, okay? When you do x plus h squared, it's going to be that, okay? So it's going to be 3 times that. I'm just trying to save you some writing because it's a lot. So if you know that, that kind of saves you some time. All right, plus 6x plus h minus 1. So I plugged x plus h into both of these. I just went ahead and expanded that one because I wrote it on the board right behind me. You can see it there, and we've already done it a couple of times. So I'm just trying to save you some work. But just make sure you plug in x plus h everywhere there's an x. What's the next step? Subtract the whole function. Give it a hug. Subtract the whole thing. And then that is all over h. Do you get what I was saying about how that's kind of annoying to write it all over h every time? If you want to just put that in at the end, I'm fine with that. I write it every time because I'm trying to show you guys how to do the problem. All right, now you're going to do a whole lot of distributing. Distribute this 3. What will that give us for this first part? 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared And then what? 6x plus 6h minus 1. This is actually more about organization than anything else. You got to stay organized. And then distribute your negative. That's going to negate all of these. Minus 3x squared minus 6x plus 1. And again, if you did your job correctly, a lot of stuff should go away. So let's see, what does go away here? 3x squareds are gone. 6x is gone. And the 1s are gone. What does everything that's left have in common? They all have they turn out the same way. These problems turn out the same way every single time. So you're going to divide an h out of each of them, and whatever's left is your answer. So that would be 6x plus what? 3h, good, plus 6. You just leave it like that. Don't factor it. Don't do anything else to it. Whatever you get is your answer.